You're listening to the C1D Paintball podcast.
To the camera once or twice this episode. And for those of you listening,
I have the same issue.
really, and for those listening, just audio podcast, that's the world's worst introduction. I'm Andrew from C1D Paintball. Today I'm joined with Mike and the Enigma, Connor. And for those of you actually watching on YouTube, you'll notice that he shaved. And he's also a bit of a Star Wars nerd because I'm counting multiple lightsaber posters in the back.
Yeah.
I'll have to edit that out.
I see it.
And so
they're there.
So we only have a certain amount of people that listen to these. And all the Star Trek fans just turned it off. So they're gone. So as we record this, it is May 19th. D-Day. We're going to be licking our wounds in 2 weeks from now because D-Day will be wrapped up. And that's going to dominate a lot of our chat and everything for a while. Create lots of good stories and such. But the story of today for this episode is Mike ventured off to a field not too far from us, south of the border. And for those of you in the United States are saying he went to Mexico. And those of us in Canada said, no, Andrew, he didn't go to Mexico. He stayed within his own country, the great US of A. And Mike, do you want to tell us about where you went and spin a yarn, tell a tale for us?
Yeah, so me and the wife decided we wanted to check out, a couple new fields and just put our feelers out there. It was a beautiful day, so we went to Colchester Paintball in Colchester, Vermont. Super nice field. We had an awesome time. We were just we were fighting the heat all day, but besides that, we had a blast. Met some really cool people. Got to play some new game modes and just play on some different style fields, that we aren't used to playing on.
Well, tell us.
Overall, it was a really good day.
A good day? Okay.
Yeah. I don't even think we were there for 4 hours, I think, and we did not get to play on all the fields.
Wow.
7 fields. I found out at the end of the day, they have 7 fields. 4 of them are nice, medium size, about the size of Warzone fields, out in the open, kind of themed. One was like the big black corrugated, ditch drains, those things. There was tons of those, and it was just a kind of a speedball theme course to it. And then they had like a village type deal with just a bunch of buildings, windows, wheels, your favorite, big giant spools. And then they had a whole I believe it was another like kind of speedball looking course, but it was all spools. And then so that was like the most northern side of the field. It was very open, nothing really separating the fields. But then on the south side, I believe there's 3 fields, the ref said, in the woods.
Which on a day like today you would have enjoyed, right?
Yeah. You like the bugs were pretty gnarly in there, but you get out of the sun for a little bit. There was absolutely 0 cloud coverage until the last hour. So the first game, so it was like we'd play 2 games. We'd play on one side, and then we'd switch to the other side, and then we'd go back to the shade. Get some air, balls, drink some water and stuff. But so I had my jersey on, stripped that within the first 2 games. I had a tank top on. I ended up, which I've never done before, I went shirtless with just my vest.
Oh, no.
I was.
You were that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, Connor.
I was that guy.
We're going to have to rethink this whole thing. We'll give you a mulligan.
My belly was hanging out and everything. Yeah. It was just so hot. I couldn't.
Job to hang out with his belly there. I'm not even sure if I'm ever going to show that video. I'll release it, but
he wasn't there, so I took over for the day. But besides the heat, I mean, overall it was awesome. There was a lot of groups there, and I'd say I think there was 5 to 6 referees because there was that many groups. There was
Excellent.
2 small groups of children, which I believe it looked like low impact, and then because they were really really small, and then there was like a private group of adults and another group of teenagers, and then there was our group of about 12 people, all really good, respectable players. 4 rentals, and like 4 of us were kind of veterans, I guess I would say, knew what we were doing. So we split it up, and we were helping out the rentals and stuff. We all had a good time, and I think I got some really good footage today too.
Nice. What kind
But
of
the
markers?
fields,
Any of the experienced guys also have mag fed?
No, so the thing is, I don't even want to admit it, but I didn't use MagFed today. I looked around at what everyone was using, and I was like, I just want to. It's been a while since I used the Delta Elite, and seeing as we were kind of talking about D-Day, I think I'm gonna run the Delta Elite because I was absolutely destroying with that thing today. It's just it's a laser. And I hadn't used it for the last few, months since I got the T15 or whatever. So I believe that's going to be one of the markers I'm bringing.
Now, when we were doing the kind of pre-talk we do where I kind of do the technical test and drink my tea, stay awake here, you mentioned Miranda had a pretty good day at the field?
Wow. Today, I think, was one of her best days. Not that she doesn't do awesome like every time, but today, not only did she blow my mind, but like the refs, the other players on both the teams were just like, it was nuts. Not only did she last, not to just compare her to me, but not only did she last longer in more games than I did, she got more eliminations than I did. She won more games. She got the final kills. Everything about it. She just absolutely destroyed it today. I'm super proud of her. She's getting her groove, and she's getting in. Yeah, she really likes that marker too. That Phenom. She had it dialed in today. We were playing. It was a game. It was 4v4 or something like that. There was 4 people on the other team, and she got 3 of them. Like, she eliminated 3 of them.
Who
basically
stole her
the
ace?
entire team.
Does that mean you stole her ace? Who took that 4th one out?
No, it wasn't me. I think it was one of the other guys. But it was a phenomenal day, and I was getting out so much. Like, I like to move. I like to be up. And of course, I had no idea about the fields, where any lanes are, where's coverage for anywhere. So when I run to the 50, I have no idea where, if I'm open. So I had gotten my ass kicked quite a bit early on. So I spent a lot of time on the sidelines, watching, kind of helping I wasn't cheating. I wasn't telling the rentals like, hey, they're over here, but I was trying to coach them, let them know just some things without hurting the other team. But yeah, Miranda, she blew my mind today. It was amazing. She did a great job.
Actually,
So
you mentioned
props
something.
to her.
You mentioned going to the 50. You didn't know the field a lot. Connor, what do you do? What do you do in that situation? A brand new field like that? Do you got the balls like that to run up? Well, you can say balls are stupidity. For me, it's stupidity. For Mike, who's got a good shot and faster legs, might be smarter. How do you approach something like that, Connor?
God, I don't know. It's been so long since I've played, like, I guess, somewhere new. We're not like Mike, right, that like to experiment too much. We kind of, we go to Warzone, Army Globe every now and then. We know those fields pretty well. But I guess it really just all depends, right? Being in that new environment, right? If I've gotten a feel for, like, if I've gotten hit a few times before, and I have those, like, first day worries or whatever, right? When after the first shot hurts the most normally in the day, gets you going. And I think after that, maybe I have balls to run up into the middle. Obviously, depends on how the game's going, but say there's a 50-50 chance of me running to the 50.
it's actually it's funny because
Like it.
the
Love it.
only new place I've played where I haven't played with anybody like in particular, Connor and I, every time we go to a new field for the first time, we're always together because we rarely don't play together. But when I went to New Mexico, and that was a lot of fun in that, and it was kind of a bit of I had a great time, but it was like, oh man, I wish some of the guys were here to experience this. And of course, I played so
Yeah.
crappy in the videos. It's like some of the people, like Mike's polite, saying, "Oh, the field looks pretty cool." It's like if I was watching that, if I was an outsider, it says it's too bad the guy with the camera sucks because it's just the worst. Here's me walking off the field.
Hey,
That's
they're
funny.
giving
I
an
mean,
old
that's
man a new toy though, right? So
Yeah, and then they gave
let
me
them
not
the
let
only were
them
you
do
on a
it.
new field.
Yeah,
Yeah, not only were you on a new field, you were using a new style marker. I mean, I think
exactly.
you held your own pretty well.
Lots of learning.
I didn't know you had to actually have to turn the
Yep.
hopper on. It's like it's battery. It's like, okay, what is this like? Is this like a flare
Yeah.
when I need help?
Oh, that's the problem.
SOS.
The
Alert.
Delta Elite has that hopper feed. I forget what it's called. But sometimes if I hit it hard enough or if I drop to the ground, it'll shut off and then I go to shoot and I'm not feeding any balls. So
Okay.
I that happens to me.
Well,
But we played.
yeah, new
Oh,
game types. Tell us about these new game types.
Yeah.
That buzzword got me intrigued.
well, I guess I got you a little more excited. There was only one new game type. It was I guess we have done it. We did mostly play like a team deathmatch, one life stuff because we were bounced around all the courses and whatever. But it was like so we were deep into the woods. It was mostly like there's trails that just kind of cut everywhere. Really dense woods too. That's not like anything at Warzone. Like really dense pine. I was like, where do we go? Like I didn't know. They dropped us into it, but it was a bell. It was just a bell game mode basically. Two bells on each side. It was two spawns, two respawns, or two lives. You got to run over and you basically just got to ring the other guy's bell in their spawn. But I had no idea where anything was. So like I knew where the bell was, but I didn't know that basically there was going to be like 5 people hidden in all these dense forests, like watching the bell, and
And they
we
knew
did
the
not win
angles.
that game.
I'm assuming at least a couple of them did.
Yeah, yeah, there was a couple people there that knew, but it was just something new. I guess it could, similar to like capture the flag or just getting to the other side, but having the bells and then of course when you die, you got to go back to the bell post, touch that. But having the bells in the middle of the woods and not knowing anything that was going on, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I do. I
we
do
had a lot
love
of fun
woods
with that.
ball, and I know that we don't have it at Warzone and that, but it's one of the things I enjoy the most about Commando Action is the woods ball area, especially because it is definitely a key to control the field. That when guys meet head to head on the south part on the beach in the main town, is the woods is just critical. And I'll have to see if it's thicker than Commando's not really too thick, is it, Connor? Just kind of at the edge of the woods and that, but it's got some open areas to it.
Yeah, I think if anything, Mirabelle was more thick.
Oh yeah, you're right actually. Mirabelle
Yeah.
was pretty
Yeah,
thick.
I'd never been in anything like this. It was just like you could see some people like through the pine, and you'd want to shoot at them, but there was just so many branches. You had to be kind of like on one of the main. There was lots of different paths that went around, but of course you didn't want to be on those because
Okay, that's it.
they're
We're going,
main
Connor.
lanes.
We're going. We're definitely going. We're gonna have a little game day out there because that's intriguing to me totally. And
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I let them know that we're gonna come on down and bring a few people, and they're ready for us.
we'll do that definitely. Well, we still want to get to your home field. Capital. What's it called? I'm bad with names, so I don't want anybody offended there. And that was it called Capital City? Or am I thinking the Simpsons?
Capital Combat Zone.
Capital Combat. Capital
Yeah,
City.
Capital Combat Zone in Troy. Troy, New York, yeah. It's funny, they were talking about we was talking to the owner today, and he's like, "Oh, have you ever been to the paintball place in Troy?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, Capital Combat Zone, like that's my place." And he's like, "Oh, it just burnt down." And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, man, it just burnt down. He's like, apparently there was like a meth lab under it. And I'm like, I don't think we're talking about the same place, because I was like, this place is awesome, and it's like not that type of place. And he's like, oh yeah, no, right over here in Troy, Vermont. And I'm like, oh no, okay, no. Apparently there was a paintball place in Troy, Vermont that just, it was very sketchy, and it didn't last but a few weeks and ended up burning down.
A meth lab.
There's that.
Isn't that didn't in Breaking Bad was Saul Goodman wanted to launder the money by having laser tag? So
yes,
there you go. So they
I think that was kind of what they were doing. Yeah. But yeah, so Capital Combat Zone, back to that, I kind of veered off there as I normally do. Yeah, they've been just pumping it out. They do a lot of advertisement with pictures. They got a professional, one of the refs is a professional photographer, videographer and stuff. He's got like a TikTok and stuff. And
he took some pictures of you earlier in the year when Mikey went down too, if I remember.
Yeah. He took some team pictures of us, and then you don't even know sometimes that he's there, and he captures some of the coolest moments.
Yeah, D-Day, the guys take a lot of pictures, and it'll be good that we got this on this year, because last year I kind of went to you go to the photographer. Here's a tip, especially because mostly photographers are at big games. If you want to know how to get your picture taken a lot, just go to the photographer and say, this is what I'm wearing. In this case, I'm going to say, anytime you see this, just snap pictures, and you should be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's segue.
So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to come down.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to. Well, probably. I know it's pushing it a lot because we're playing next Sunday, which will be a good practice a week before D-Day. And then we actually have D-Day. Then Connor and I, because my wife's going on a business trip, flying out, and we're thinking about, where we could go that weekend, and maybe Capital City, or maybe just the one in Vermont, because I think Capital City one, we want a lot of guys to come out from
Capital Combat Zone.
You want to go to Capital
City, baby?
Okay. We'll go.
I was correcting you. Capital Combat Zone, not Capital City.
That's me. If you know me,
either are.
Yeah, no. I'm just, that's what I'm here for, right?
Yeah.
Produced.
As long as there's not a Capital City close by, I don't think they'll mind.
I should lock the door so Connor just doesn't come in and bash it in and just cut the whole thing and say, that's it, the podcast's over. Actually,
no, I'll write it right in front of your camera behind it on the wall.
Or even better, just barricade the door so there's nothing for me to get out too. I can't get out. Just get some hammer and nails. Actually, Monday's video is 27 minutes long. And I refer to Mike as Mike and Mikey, but then I've got Michelangelo as also another person, but I corrected that midway through the video. So that'll be good with that.
Yeah, that's tough. We had a ref today was Mike too. So Mike's everywhere.
It's going to be tough. My friend Michael starts playing with us again. He's coming out next time on Sunday. So we got Mikey, Mike, and Michael.
We can on the field if we have to.
Yeah.
So to be fair, it's
I have multiple nicknames that can be used on the field to deter from.
Michael goes by Michael, or he likes going by his Italian birth name, Michele. But that's more of like a friend joke that we call him that.
Is that the ones that we played with in the fall?
Yeah. All those guys are coming out to get the rust off for D-Day.
Yeah.
Nice. So, I remember hanging out with you guys by the picnic tables and stuff.
Well, Michael was a regular last year.
There was another.
Yeah, he's just been busy watching his team lose in the Premier League.
Well, I mean,
I think they're out. I don't know. Arsenal. I haven't been paying attention.
Well, he's a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, so he's used to it. Oh, by the way, there's I know Mike's not into sports or anything, but the women's professional hockey team in Toronto choked up a 2-0 lead, and they got reverse swept. So it really is a Toronto sports team. So
yeah,
Mike, that's the rivalry.
Before we get too far,
Toronto.
Intense.
Before we get too far off the fields, I mean, we were just to match two things that we were talking to about earlier is the new fields that you guys are going to come up to the States and check out. Mm-hmm. And then talking about Connor, and his strategies of running up on the 50, with these new fields and whatever. I've never played with you guys outside of your guys' home fields, Army Globe and Warzone, etc. So I'm actually really excited and just anticipating to see if your guys' play style changes at all. Just all the different aspects that come with what a new field has to bring.
Yeah.
It's exciting. I'm excited for it. So
I mean, you see me on Battlefield though, right? How the maps, I don't know. I still run in, even though I don't know
Yeah.
where I'm going. So I think
yeah,
it translates to paintball. I play it just as reckless
nice.
as I do.
Actually,
So we'll see.
I'm excited.
Actually, I'll say one thing. Connor, one of his strengths on the field in paintball is call outs and picking things up. And I honestly think you picked that up from video games because you communicate the same way.
Yeah,
Except you don't swear as much on the paintball
that was
field.
another thing.
The videos I don't.
Yeah,
Right?
that was another thing
The
that Miranda
videos,
got
it's true.
commended for today.
Yeah.
She was there was the one guy that was with us. It was like a veteran. I kept letting him know. I was like, hey, you can talk to my wife. I was like, she's really good at communicating. And all of a sudden he got that. And then they were just like an unstoppable team together with the communication and just like picking people off left and right. So communication is key.
We got Green Rental is in the audience listening, right? Audience. It's like we have an audience,
Hi,
a
Green
studio
Rental.
audience. He's lurking in Discord, and he came out the last time with us with 3 buddies and new to paintball and that, or fairly new. And there's one thing where one of the guys is communicating. He knew Connor's name and he's shouting out things to him. That's the one where actually Mike, that's the game where Connor's like, watch your ammo, conserve your ammo. You two were
Yeah.
communicating, and this new player behind him picked up on that specifically to Connor, suggested to Connor, and they were all talking and working together. And maybe that's the nerd in me and all that, but I said, this is great. This is what it's all about, because you see sometimes it's like, I won't say the name of the field. There's a field Connor and I played at a couple times, and we haven't been to in years. And it was a lot of walk-ins and just guys amongst themselves, and it was kind of awkward. It was like a weird dance where everybody's wallflowers and watching each other, and it's just like, you know what? It's like, hey man, I'm Andrew. Call me whatever. Call me old guy or whatever. But just communicate and go in there. And I like seeing that kind of stuff. So I mean, it's the key to it. It's you share the pain. I mean, even if you get your ass kicked all day, but you're talking with the other guys and you have a moral victory that you take a couple of guys out. I mean, you take what you can. Maybe it's because I'm a shitty player, but anyway.
No, I agree. Support. It's great. I believe I have a video of him. I'll have to go back and double check. It was that game. Connor told me, conserve your ammo. And then Connor looked at me and said, we need somebody on the right. And I believe Buddy was in the spawn, Green Rental. And I turned to him and I said, hey, we'll cover you. Can you push up from the right? And no question asked, he pushed up and took that right side and secured it. So that's just another example of, I think that was that game you were talking about, communication. It just makes
it's important. I mean, you say it sometimes when you're in the spawn zone, because you can give tips to rentals or new players in the staging area and that, but it's when you're about to start that it really sinks home a little bit more. But Connor's heard me say, it's just like he's heard my dad jokes 1,000 times, but you say the same speech to guys. Hey guys, you ever played before? And when they go no, or only a few times, hey, just keep it easy. If you can't shoot, just call people out. Say, I see somebody on the left, somebody in the middle, somebody on the right. You don't have to know the names of the call outs, and you keep it easy with that. Now, speaking of talking to new players and such, so Connor, what's your last bit of advice? Because we're going to do this a week from now at Warzone, where we're going to be playing, getting ready for D-Day. We're just going to be mostly playing, loosening up. Even though I got all my markers cleaned and I wanted to keep them clean for D-Day, but I'm going to mess them up next week. Connor, what's the best advice you're going to give for the new players playing the first D-Day with us on June the 2nd at Commando Action Center? I got that one right.
Yeah. Guess in the famous words of a legendary NHL coach, Sheldon Keefe, is go out there and have fun, boys. An elimination game in which he lost his job for losing.
By the way, Connor, if
No,
I
All right.
3 D-days at Commando Action, how many have we won, Connor?
Shouldn't talk about that. It's bad. It's bad morale if we mention that here. People aren't going to follow us in the battle if we say that we don't have any.
Let's just
Any
say we're
victor-
due.
Yeah,
No.
we'll get one eventually.
So have you guys played? I've watched the videos, but I just don't pay attention enough. Have you guys been on the same side? How did that go?
Oh yeah, we
For
always
all
play on
3
the same
years, have you been
side.
on the same side? as well?
Yeah, we always
Okay.
play on the same side. Experience it together. But
Nice.
well, actually, it's funny because the first year Connor and I were basically side by side together. The whole thing is it was just the two of us. The second.
Oh no,
time-
sorry, I meant like a team, like Axis, like
Oh yeah, we're actually we did
every
Allied
year.
one
Have you
side.
been on?
We did Axis
I
Allied.
felt like we were always. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the second year we're Allied for some reason. You know, the Axis.
Nice,
You know,
cool.
they got nicer uniforms, right?
But every single time, I know that we did start in the on beach side first, so it felt like we were always the Axis.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
It's true, actually. Yeah.
We
But the
never
one-
started first in the morning by the water.
No.
Huh.
As a matter of fact, our first D-Day, there's just the one year where it was one big game and you started from the one side and that's it. But the other two, and just like this year's, each get a turn spawning on each side. The first time we spawned on the beach right after lunch. So it's like 1 o'clock in the blistering sun, our first D-Day. So it's like, let's go to the beach. And that was a decision worthy of the heat stroke I mildly got. And I had to sit off 20 minutes.
Oh my god.
Dousing water all over myself. Here's a pro tip.
I
You got
want
a
to
nice
say.
chamal on. You got a
Oh.
nice chamal tied around your neck. Why would you wear that on a hot day? You dump a water bottle on it, tie it around your neck, and you're good. You're good, that's for sure.
Wow, I never thought of that.
Wait a minute.
Never
Okay.
thought of that.
Okay, we got a comment here.
Same with
We
your
get-
bandana too.
Bandana can do it too. Okay, so Green Rental says, talking about getting my ass kicked, I played 2 games and only hit 3 guys, but I'm enjoying playing paintball. You know what? There are days where I'll take hitting 3 guys all day. Like I don't hit anybody, or you only hit 1. And there's days where I might not have hit 1, and I have a great day. And it's about all the other little things. Gotta tell you one thing: Green Rental looked like the happiest guy in the world when Mike caught it on his drone.
The drone, yeah.
Yeah, when he got the flag and he scored it and he won, he put it down. And I think he said, "Screw it!" And he picked it up and he was waving it around. I guess that's one happy man.
That was epic. That was a good shot.
Yeah, we might have to have a showdown where he's on one side, Connor's on the other, and they just have a race to the flag.
I
This
mean,
is only-
I'm pretty sure, without knowing his age, I'm pretty sure he's younger than me, so he's got the advantage there. If we're having an all-out race,
Oh, so he's just built an excuse there. It all depends, actually, if
it's not an
Thomas
excuse.
is there.
It's not an excuse like how you guys compare me to being Thomas's speed, but it's obvious I'm faster than Thomas because I'm younger than him. So it's the same thing like that.
Hey, Thomas really wanted you the other day. When you guys, all these head-to-head battles, it's like when they play it, I'm watching the videos. It's like here's my camera, and every time I go to Connor's camera when I'm editing, it's like
Exactly.
there's Thomas running on that side.
Yeah.
40 and lugging a spare tire
That's-
is what Thomas said. So Thomas, you know,
Thomas, what he has over me though, makes him seem like he's faster, which I think is more valuable though, is just confidence. When they run up, like he knows when to do it, and he knows that he can't do it.
hmm
Sometimes I hesitate, and that's why I'm maybe back or something. I don't think Thomas has that problem, and that just comes from experience.
Well, one thing I like about Thomas and Jeff as well is their experience in paintball. Like Thomas will run up there, and if he's got his pump, he'll run in. And if he gets taken out in the first 30 seconds, it doesn't mean he's not going to charge in hard the next time. He goes out there and he lets it kind of fly by the seat of your pants, but in a controlled kind of way. It's just go with the flow. That's the expression. Fly by the seat of your pants is the opposite of what I wanted to say. So D-Day, go out there and have fun. Yeah, it is. You know, the experience. What I'm going to say to people, and this will come up too, is just pace yourself though. You got to pace yourself.
Yeah.
It's a long day. Even Connor, who's got
Yeah.
who's young
Here,
about the
can I
same.
talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. You talk about what
Yeah.
happened last
So,
time.
last year I made the decision to only play without my marker and be medic, like strictly just running all over the place and stuff. And obviously that's pretty tiring. But like even I didn't even make it like 75% through the day. So before like halfway in the second half of the game, I couldn't play anymore. I was just like exhausted, and so
Wow.
it's definitely something that I've noted. I mean, it might be a bit too short notice to give advice, but I'm trying to get in shape for that and like just doing little exercises and going out for runs every day. Otherwise, if you're not doing these things, just make sure to pace yourself. You can play it like, your average game, but make sure, right, that you're playing for hours on end without, a usual break that you have right between, matches, that 10-minute break. You don't have any of those unless you go out and take it yourself. So you really do have to be, pacing your runs for every few minutes you spend, running up to the front after respawning. You got to walk some so that you don't
Yeah.
burn yourself out.
And Connor too, because he was the medic, and medics are out when they get we hit anywhere. You have to go back, not just a headshot.
Yeah.
No, if it's
Anywhere. No, anywhere. You thought it was a headshot, but it was
yeah,
anywhere.
it's anywhere. So I mean, he feels guilty, I guess is the word, but he feels bad when he has to respawn. And when the respawn timer, it depends on how they do it to the day, but you just don't go back to respawn and come back again. They put you in waves. And is that what they call it? Waves? I forget what insertions. That's what they call it,
Insertion too.
which sounds cool.
Oh wow.
Uh, but you're sitting there waiting, and of course, 5 minutes when you were pushing them out of the woods, and all of a sudden, shit, I'm the medic and I'm out. That 5 minutes seems like a long, long time, and you got to make sure you jog back. You don't run back. And watching his video, I mean, I knew he survived, but if this was found footage, it says that they must have found this off a dead guy. He's running and he's like, and it's like I'm the one that can't.
Yeah, I was wheezing that entire day.
Yeah.
Well, not wheezing, but you could hear me like I was like a dog.
That
And what
was me
happened
all
was
day today.
I took the medic flag for him for the little. You actually lasted more than 3/4. You give yourself credit. You're probably closer to 85% of the game. So I took the medic flag, and I thought, was a medic really? It's only if I get headshotted that I'm out, right? Another medic can revive me. It's like no. I actually went and got a slapstick. Like the guy shooting at me thought, what the hell is that medic doing? There was a shield in front of me, mind you. Oh, we're going to bring the shield out next Sunday. We're going to bring out the C1D shield at Warzone, and we should have
Nice.
some fun and games with that. That could be cool. Oh, by the way,
Awesome.
what is it? I think he told us. Did you hear that too, Connor? Last time we were at Warzone, they figure when we're back for D-Day, after D-Day, the second floor should be complete on the other side of base, right?
Yeah.
What's your thought about that, Connor? Because I brought that up earlier. I said, oh, that'll be fun to play on that. You seemed a little. What's your concern about that?
I don't know. I'm just thinking of having that change, whether it's actually going to have an effect or not. Like,
That it might
because of
neutralize
like
the mid?
well, not even is that I feel like the side of the white building, I think you called the administration building or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that from that you can see clearly over to the front of the containers, so the other team spawn. But from the top of the containers, since it's not as high up, I wonder if you're going to be able to see equally on the other side, which I don't think you're going to be able to. So I think having that second floor makes it seem like it's balanced, that there's, a thing on each side, but I don't think it's going to do much. Or it's going to have an effect, but not. It's not going to drastically balance both sides, right? The container side still has that, the road they have to cross. That's that big no man's land that you have to run through if you don't run right at the start of the game. If the other team starts up top, it's tough to run through that all. And if your team starts up top on top of the containers, them running through their little thing right outside their building doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, Thomas
Yeah,
made the
Thomas
comment.
just said it.
Yeah, it'll be irrelevant. Yeah, I think you never know till you play it. What I think I'm looking forward to is you have attack defend right now, where the attackers from containers got to go to admin and take them out. Well, you're gonna play it the other way now, so things like that could be pretty
Sure.
interesting.
Yeah.
And of course,
I don't want to say it's a bad change and that they
oh
should
no, it's not good.
stop construction, because I still think it's great, right, to be doing these adjustments. I'm just saying in a game where it's like mirrored thing, like team deathmatch, right, might not be too impactful, but I think for attack defend that you were saying, right, being able to switch sides where the attackers have to run across that road, across that major gap, where they can't just sneak up like they can on the other side. I think that will be fun. But for a normal game where it's like neutral or whatever, it's a
Could be
bit useless.
Actually, what about a north-south spawn? Somebody spawns north of the truck, and somebody spawns south. Then it's going to be a race to go on both sides. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
That was my.
But then
That
after
was what
also,
I
you
was thinking.
can go first, Mike.
Would be awesome. Oh, sorry. I was just thinking it would be really cool. A couple of times that we played the north south, we've stopped at the road.
Yeah.
But I think in my head, that field would be really cool north south, like just a team deathmatch, elimination, one life, whatever, using both the buildings, going north south. That way, it's like you kind of would want to get the high ground on both sides. So on your team, you'd want to get one guy at least in each building to kind of get that. That's just my idea. I think it would be
imagine
cool
that?
north south.
One team getting a guy in each of those and controlling on top. Actually, I think I'm because there is going to be two stairs going up on container side. It's going to be interesting to have people. It doesn't happen too often in admin, but I'm thinking I'm hoping it happens more on the container side where you're actually battling on the second floor against each other.
Yeah, from one side to the other.
Yeah.
Those fights are fun.
The only time I've ever had that is against Green Rental and his buddies when he played with Thomas, and the four of them were defending in min. And it was just a handful of us, including you, Mike. Remember we went and we attacked them up there, and they stayed up there. And at one point, Norm and I were on the south staircase up, firing across the bridge there. And it only dawned to me after, it's like, I've actually never done that here before. It's very rare that somebody comes up on that. But yeah, that'll be fun with that.
And of course, once you get in there to the certain areas, you're kind of in freezing distance. And a lot of that upstairs.
True.
I noticed with the corners and stuff, like if you're in that north room and someone's coming up those closest stairs to you and you come around that corner, like even if they're at the bottom of the flight, like it's kind of like freeze. I feel bad to shoot you, depending on who you are, kind of type deal.
What are we going to say, Connor? Would you rather be defending up there or attacking up there if you had an assault on that?
I'll answer that in a second, but I was just curious for the container side. Is it like for sure there's going to be two staircases up?
Yeah, I know they've only got the frame for the one up right now.
It's not even the frame; it is the one up.
Yeah, it's the one up there. It's the one further north, the red container that kind of angles off more towards the truck, opposite the truck. They're supposed to put one there, but you're right. I haven't seen a frame go up. But
yet. There's also nothing connecting that container to the rest. Like it's not like straight to connect it, and there's no like walkway.
They're supposed to put a walkway, but I think, you know what? And I'm just theorizing this. I think the reason why they didn't build that is they want to put something up on the rock there. Because you know how they're continuing on admin up more north? I think that might be integrated more on that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, okay, well that makes sense. But I was just thinking for now, like in the sake of a north-south game where, Mike said how powerful it can be where both sides, one side gets, both high grounds.
Mm-hmm.
I would just feel like whichever team spawns south, they basically are given containers for free, right? Because the staircase is so much closer to them, and it's going up on their side. They don't have to turn around,
Right.
Good
So
point.
I think in the case of you're playing north-south on that, you would still maybe not allow that side, or maybe say no containers, the second level on that side,
First
because I think
floor
it'd be
only.
too easy to get to.
Yeah, first floor only. Good that. Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask Mike. Not putting it on the spot, the field, because you had a good time today. How were they with the freeze rule? Something important for me. How were the freeze rule today in Vermont?
So the first game that we got into, I mean, obviously there was the initial rules that they tell you, and they said it wasn't freeze, it was something else, surrender. I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they really didn't say a specific foot, yard, anything like that. They just, said, hey, if you're. But it was the first game that we played. There was two. They were the cutest little things ever, but just these two little guys with their dad. And so they said, there's the little people out there, so be careful. And then they had mentioned the surrender rule, but after that, they were like, they had mentioned we went to the village, a lot of tight corners, buildings, only one door with a window. So if you walk in, and there was no 50, like you go to the other side. They didn't mention anything about it, so yeah, there was people getting shot in the ass, like from pretty close and stuff, but no one got hurt. Everyone was pretty respectable. I didn't see any surrenders.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't surrender anybody, but they had mentioned it. So, and the refs are all pretty good at listening to the players too, as far as what they wanted to play, with how they wanted the rules to go, lives, etc. So, if you have a whole group that wants to establish that rule or whatever, they would definitely, wouldn't have a problem enforcing it, I don't think.
Okay, good to know. Good to know with that. And this is the part where Monday's video where I actually should have frozen Michelangelo and I didn't because well, you'll see. Watch it.
Didn't you have him in the front though, without spoiling it?
Didn't I have him in the front? Sorry. Oh
no, I might be thinking. Is that where you got him off the hand?
Yeah, I got him off the hand.
It isn't. I'd say it's not a freeze though, because
it was a reflex.
You knew you were there. You knew.
Yeah.
We'll let the audience decide.
Let the audience decide.
Yeah, I mean, I think on what's it called, Village, if you're in those like little zigzag things, right, you can freeze each other face to face. But I think there, where it's in the open and he knows that you're there, I think that's fair, not freezing him.
Yeah. Thomas.
No, if I definitely were frozen, I wouldn't accept it, right? Because you're allowed to, like, whatever. Yeah. Like, I feel like I still have a chance of getting you. So
yeah, no freeze face to face. Thomas says. Actually, it's funny because it sounds like this is a promotional video or podcast to promote the video that's coming out on Monday. But there was actually two situations at the same thing. One was with Michelangelo, because remember, we got to establish who Mikey is, and one was with one of the new guys, one of Green Rental's buddies he was with. And there is one where it was face to face, but freeze was in play because he was new on that. But yeah, it worked out well. There was no fisticuffs. Everything was settled by men. I don't know why I put on my shitty Irish accent for that. So wearing the green shirt.
In the green chair.
In the green chair.
Yeah, it was fitting.
I should have said top of the podcast to you when we started off.
Do you have like a green accent light under there too, or is that just
there's
me?
A green? Actually, it's not just any green. It's supposed to be
Shamrock green.
No. I can't figure this damn thing out. It's like...
Oh yeah, I will mention that on the podcast just in case he just so happens to be watching a random video now that we had talked about it today. We were at Vermont. At the Colchester field, and my wife was talking. I was on the other team at this point, and she was talking to one of the guys, and he had heard about C1D, and I'd watched. I guess no, must have been through the YouTube. He was talking about different game modes and stuff that were played, and it was a just a small world type deal. So if you're watching, buddy, appreciate you.
Thank you. After 422 videos released. We did it, Connor. We're eating steak tomorrow.
Another achievement I forgot to tell you
Crab
about.
legs.
I might have told you about it off camera, but when Mike and Miranda and I, when we went to Army Globe, this other guy, he recognized the channel, and funny enough, his name was also Connor. So
Yep.
yeah,
The question is, do you
Yep.
see
That
him
was
at the
really
meetings?
cool.
Is he a real Connor? Does he go to the Connor meetings?
I didn't ask him the question, like the big
Okay.
question, right? Whether you have one N or two N's in your name, or
Oh,
whether there's an
yeah, that's
E.
important.
No
E or
secret
no.
handshake
Yeah.
thing?
Mhm.
Yeah, no, we didn't do that. We didn't get and check if he was one of the real ones. But since he's subscribed, I think he's one of the real ones.
I'll tell you what,
Nice.
that's actually, Mike, I really that brought a smile to my face here. It's because I think one of the things about the group is just to have fun amongst ourselves, because let's face it, these podcasts are a great example. We talk about things that I mean, it was good that we talked about the new field today, but we're talking about, we're doing this on base, we're doing this on village. And it's like, unless you play at the field or play specifically with us, it's not
You have
really
no clue.
an appealing podcast
Yeah.
for those that are, unless they want to say, I wonder how these guys
Hmm.
talk amongst themselves. Because that's what it's
Hey,
all
maybe
about.
it'll intrigue them to go check these places out. Like,
That's true.
oh, that place sounds pretty sweet. We're gonna have to go there. 2 floors of containers. That's awesome.
Maybe there's a paintball stalker taking notes. And he says, well, I'm going to go play with those guys. He's going to get in a plane, drive over. He's got a list. He goes, I want to take Connor out. I want to take Thomas out.
I will.
Then I'm going to
I
face
will
to
say a
face
funny
shoot
thing.
Andrew straight in the face, no matter if he freezes me or not. Let's see if he puts that
Oh God.
on his damn video.
Jason. I will say today was a first for me. It was really hot when we were getting ready, and I rushed getting ready. I played the entire day. And there was plenty of breaks throughout the day where I took my mask off, took my vest off, walked around, talked. At the end of the day, when I was packing up, I looked down at my feet, and I'll send a picture so you can put it up on the video. I looked down and I had 2 different friggin' shoes on. I had my paintball shoe on, and I had the shoe that I drove my comfy shoes. And I looked down and I said, I can't believe one of the little kids who was checking out all our gear wasn't like, why are you wearing 2 different shoes? But gotta say that was a first for me.
Give
Silly
yourself
moment. Me and
credit.
my
Was
wife
one
laughed
left
about
and
that.
one right at least, or were they both like left? Because
No, they were on the right feet.
okay,
I couldn't even tell the difference.
okay,
Funny
that's all
because
right.
one was like twice as heavy as the other one. It was like a hiking shoe, and then one was like a pair of Hey Dudes.
Oh, it must be getting old.
Significantly
My
2
right knee is
different
acting
shoes.
up. Well, yeah, it's because it's got a steel plate in it. The other one doesn't.
But that was my silly moment for the day.
Well, speaking of silly moments,
So check your shoes.
check your shoes. It's a prerequisite. Would you like to be a member of the group? Important question. Do you check your shoes? Do you wear the same
It'll
type
be
of shoes when you
new
play?
rule.
Like, no, I change. I put paintball shoes. Yes, but are they the same exact shoe? You got to set the bar low, and then you win. Okay, so we're up at 48 minutes here. Let's see. I think we really wrap it up with too much here. We got paintball for Connor. Well, no, we got 3 weekends coming up. We are going to go to the U.S. the weekend after D-Day and go play with Mike and Miranda down there. Hopefully, take a few more of the gang down with us and have some fun.
Yeah.
See a new field. I'll have an excuse, but I'm going to go MagFed. Here's the thing, Mike. I see a lot of videos like when I might have brought this up in a previous podcast, but since nobody listens, they won't notice. When I watch Ion, the Invasion of Normandy, that the world's biggest, I guess it's supposed to be the world's biggest paintball like game because just the sheer number. There's some pretty wild ones in Europe that I would probably do ahead of it. But Ion looks spectacular. But when they're driving around real tanks and shit in Europe, I'd like to see that. But Ion, the one thing I noticed,
That's wicked.
everybody's got speedball markers. Like there's a lot of speedball markers in the States. Is that correct?
I do see a lot of them. When you go to Capital Combat Zone, it's about 50-50, depending
That's
on
not
the
too bad.
day. But it's rare do you run into an occasion where there's somebody who's abusing it. Because I mean, there's people with like what is it, the Defender or something, that big thing with the
Oh, the
Yeah,
kill
the
hit
built-in
brought that one
hopper.
time
Yeah.
and just ran.
It's
Yeah,
the
so there's a
rectangle
guy out
stock
there.
almost, yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy almost every time we've been out there, he's been there. Big dude, and he's just like, and he doesn't abuse it, but every once in a while when he's, when he's off with his friend over in the corner, you can hear him go fully auto, and his friend, they have a good time with it. But yeah, we don't have a bad time. And if somebody does, the
no,
refs are on top of it.
Yeah, I didn't say it was a bad time per se, but I think MagFed.
It can be, though.
Yeah, MagFed seems to be more prevalent in parts of Canada. Like a lot of these guys that do these big MagFed events, they seem to be in Ontario, Northern Ontario. I know Mike, you're in the States, but if you're from Ontario, really Southern Ontario, Toronto, Hamilton, even Ottawa up on the side, they kind of differentiate themselves with Northern Ontario. And there's a lot like paintball, really great paintball fields up there, but they love themselves MagFed up there. So it might be more of just a niche thing, area to area.
There's a couple good groups of MagFed down there, and they have a massive MagFed event once a year.
Oh,
I
really?
forget what it's called. Yeah, couple hundred people, yeah, and they fill that whole field right up. But I think it runs too close to D-Day to swing it. I think it's like the weekend after. I think it's the weekend. Zero hour. Yep, Thomas.
That's it. The man, the myth, the
Yep.
legend, Thomas, pointing that out. By the way, they got some really cool visual effects. They have this cool like poster. It looks like something for a movie for 0 hour. See it on Facebook all the time. It looks heavy duty, just like the promotion, which is weekend after D-Day. Yep. Here's the thing. When you're younger in paintball, you got the legs, so you can do something like that back to back. But the one thing you don't have is the finances. I don't think how many paintball players also play golf, because they would also have to be independently wealthy on that one.
Who does?
We two people.
Connor, do you know people normally pay for their own paintball games? Did you know that?
Yeah, but I'm like your secret weapon. So
I know, honey, I gotta go play paintball.
It's a good investment.
I promised Connor I had to go. Yeah. I'm sorry, Mike.
I'm your excuse.
You're my excuse. Oh, that's an open. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Sorry, Mike. I stole your thunder there.
No, you're good. You're good.
Thomas says he was gifted his golf clubs. I actually was gifted my golf clubs too, but I don't mind golf, but it's just I'm hard enough on myself. Actually, that's one thing I can't. That's a whole other topic, but I'd like to tackle it one day. The pros that play paintball, I can't watch the events on TV. I appreciate what they do and the skill they have and the practice they put in, but it's just like golf. Golfing's fun, going out there, and it's a great day, and out. I can't watch golf on TV. But anyway, I digress. Okay,
very
53
not
minutes
interesting
here.
sport.
I think we'll be signing off here. Parting thoughts again, Connor. You already gave advice, so the next time we talk will be after D-Day. What do you got your finger there? What would you like to say, brother?
Thank you, brother. So, saw on our little sheet we had before for potential topics is just want to touch on the 1v1 mini tournament we're gonna have
June 29th. I think.
So I was thinking, right? I have some ideas as a co-referee or whatever my position is. So just like to put out some stuff that we're looking out in the future as it comes closer to that. I'm gonna want to hear some community advice, right, on some changes. So my dad and I, we've been talking. We're gonna have like a few polls that we're gonna be running. We've already thought of some questions to ask to people, right? Of like, whether you'd be interested in this and that. So we'll still keep some surprises, so we have some fun, matchups. But
And
yeah, so if you're not in the Discord and you're just on YouTube, make sure to join up.
that's it. The big kicker is it's going to be on Discord. We're not nuking anything to do with Facebook, which a lot of the communication is, but Discord is more versatile to achieve that goal. So
Yeah, it's helpful having the poll function and having specific rooms just for that. Compared to if we were to do something on Facebook, I'd have to make like a Google forum and post a link, and people would have to write their names and stuff, and I'd have to have some more criteria. Compared to Discord, it's really simple to use and it's easy for people to follow.
And once again, I thank Connor before in the past. Thank him again for putting the Discord together, for helping sort out. But Mike and Connor actually specifically for the podcast, especially.
Connor's the man.
And yeah, the edit. Honestly, when I edit these, it's the audio is very easy to do. The video is pretty straightforward. I've got a template, so a lot of the work is just. I mean, we just go in loosely with an agenda, but. Thanks for that support with that. It's like I thank everybody out there who does their little bit with it. If I started, I would forget somebody, so I that'll be a later time with that. And look, next time we talk, we'll be talking about the battle stories of D-Day, and so we have to get the smoke. We have to do the road trip for the smoke, so we'll have to go around your schedule with work, Connor. And we'll see where that works out. We'll get Jeff with that. We will make sure we have a lot of bandages. Oh, water. The MagFed guys listening, and if you're listening to this, you're not part of our group and you happen to be going to D-Day. All those, your vest, everywhere you used to put magazines, because you'll probably be running hopper, which I'd recommend, put water in it. Bring lots and lots of water. And there's no such thing as overhydrating. Absolutely bring tons of water. So those mag pouches, like I said, you're going to have a walkie-talkie instead. You're going to have this and that. Fill them full of water. So, yeah.
You guys see a lot of the pouches with the water in them, with the hoses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name.
In a few of those, I know that. I feel like Nick said he was getting one or that he has one. I remember
that seems like a really good idea.
It's definitely a good
of
investment.
Just water bottles.
Yeah.
I don't know how cumbersome it is, and if it's annoying to have on. Like you feel, you feel water moving back and forth somewhere.
I think
it's worth the trade-off, though. I imagine.
I used to have one. If you spend a couple extra bucks to get a good quality one, they got all that stuff figured out.
Mm-hmm.
For hiking and stuff.
No, I would.
But I think that would be a brilliant idea.
Camelback.
Fill it up with whiskey. I mean water.
With whiskey. That's how they find. There's a couple of areas with a lot of water and swamps. You just find you floating there. There's whiskey guy. It keeps your back cool apparently too, so that's all right. So yeah, put some
nice.
Put a little salt tablet, some Gatorade in there. You got it made. All right, and that brings us to the end of this one. This episode sponsored by Gatorade. No,
and Stewart's Coffee.
Stewart's Coffee.
No name coffee. Andrew's, whatever is next to the Keurig machine, I just slap it in and crank that baby up. All right, thanks for listening.
I look forward to playing with you guys.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to play. Well, think about it. Are you coming out on the Sunday, by the way, next Sunday? Or are you guys still up in the air?
I think, as of right now, yes.
Okay.
As of right now, yes.
Well, if not, we'll see you out on D-Day and new field for you there. Then we're gonna show you around that field. Then you're gonna return the favor and show us around the field after that, and we will have some fun.
Super excited! It's gonna be an awesome season.
All right, cool. And that's about it. Thanks for coming out, guys. If you're listening to this, thank you very much to everybody. Go out there, have fun. Remember, it's only a game. And as Nick would want us to say, what is that new slogan, Connor?
To ask Mike.
Don't be a dick and...
Don't be a dick.
And you'll figure it out?
And figure it, yeah. Yeah, no.
We see that?
Use some touch-ups.
We just figured it out. Arrivederci.
Later,
Look at
guys.
this, we're going international. Arrivederci.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to like us, rate us, and tell everybody about us. Thanks for listening.